My name is George Boyd, and I've been a member of Friends Life Care for 21 years. I've spent the last 40 years as an environmental safety and occupational health consultant with the Pennsylvania Foundry Association, running all around the state of Pennsylvania, convincing owners and managers to put into place safety programs to reduce the number of accidents their employees have. Well, about 22 years ago, my older sister's husband had a heart valve condition, and they reached the point where the heart valve condition was so severe that they decided to move into, and I hope I get this right, a continuing care retirement community. I asked her, golly, what did it cost to enter such a place? And what were the monthly carrying costs? And when my sister told me, I went, and then when I got home, I said to Sandra, I said, sweetie, do you know that we could probably only manage that for about 5 years? And on the way home from these visits, we would say to each other, oh gosh, thank heavens we're not there. So I guess I was about 68 at the time, and on hindsight, I probably should have been 58, but realizing what the cost is, I shopped around, and somehow through a friend, I'm not sure exactly how, they told us about Friends Life Care. And a representative of Friends Life Care came to our house and described to us the great variety of approaches that can be taken to elder care. Friends Life Care is this broad organization that studies simply elder care. They studied the whole gamut of elder care, not simply taking care of you at home. We didn't know how much, what sort of a policy that we should get, how much and whatnot, but we did know that we wanted to stay at home. And Quakers have such a wonderful sense of community, not only in the sharing of ideas, but it's also intergenerational. Adults listen to young people, and they share ideas, and that same feeling came to me with every Friends Life Care individual that I've had experience with. Now, through the 21 years, I've had several wellness coordinators, and they all represent the very same concept, suggesting things to you, but never saying, hey, you have to do this, that, or the other. While we were still in good health, Friends Life Care provided what they call a wellness coordinator. The great big insurance companies, of course, charge big premiums because they are for profit. And Friends Life Care is a non-profit organization. And just think of this. Insurance companies don't want to pay you insurance until they have to. So they will be kind of reluctant to send in someone until you actually meet their standards. In our case, a Friends Life Care person was sort of even ahead of me. She said, George, you're doing a lot of things. Why don't you try a Friends Life Care person for, let's say, 4 hours in the morning? And I said, well, I hadn't thought of that, so let's try that. Well, now, can you imagine a great big insurance company pushing you to use their services? So unique. She would contact us by phone or even come and visit us as a result of how many times we would like her to come. And it just worked out so beautifully. And she would suggest things to us. It was never a case of, now you need to do this because you're under the insurance. But it's really nice to have someone who's focused on my health. So so qualified. They all had a great long list of acronyms behind their names, and they were all beautifully trained. And the caregivers themselves were so well trained. And now I am still well, and I'm just tickled that I know that I have a representative, because if I didn't have a Friends Life Care representative worrying about me from time to time, and she would come and visit and so on, I would have to rely on my relatives. Well, they would have to take care of old Uncle George, both physically taking care of him and maybe even having to spend money to take care of Uncle George. I have just finished an experience. My wife got Alzheimer's, and Friends Life Care just did such a beautiful job in helping Sandra and also helping me get through it. Alzheimer's is a very horrible disease, and it grows very slowly. On average, the person who gets it, it's an 8-year journey. But our wellness coordinator was ahead of me. She was understanding things that I didn't understand. Fortunately, I am in good physical health. She decided that Sandra needed a full-time live-in individual, and looking back on this 1.5 years where we had in effect a stranger in the house, it's just hard to believe that she and I got along just like peas in a pod. She made her own food. She was from a different culture, from another country, and she and I just got along so well. She was so beautifully trained, and the woman just took such beautiful care of Sandra. It had sort of kind of an unfortunate ending. She was to leave on a Thursday morning, and Friends Life Care scouted around to find a pinch hitter for us from Thursday until Monday when she was to return. Well, a woman came on Wednesday, arriving at my house at noon, and she spent the rest of the afternoon with Sheba, and Sheba told her all the things about Sandra, what needed to be done and so on. On Thursday morning, Sheba left, and Sandra passed away Thursday night. Of course, Sheba was sad, and kind of bad luck for Sheba because she was so devoted to Sandra, and Sandra passed away. And now that it's all over, Sandra died in March of last year, about 1.5 years ago, and Sheba has called me 3 times since then, calling me and saying, "Mr. Boyd, how are you?" Well, she means it. She's just as interested in me as she was in Sandra. So I cannot tell you what a wonderful experience that's been. And I asked myself the question after Sandra passed away, as everybody normally would do, did you do everything that you could for Sandra with her illness? And my niece and nephew used to say, "Oh, Uncle George, you did everything you could for her." And frankly, it was Friends Life Care that provided such a beautiful ending of Sandra's life. And it seems kind of funny to say that Sandra's passing was both peaceful and really it was beautiful in a funny way, because there she was in her own bed, in her own house that she'd lived in for, golly, 50 years.